when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 yo, go, go, go. Hustle hard, hustle every single day. I'll be making moves till I'm buried in my grave. To the system, I don't wanna be a slave. I've been doing shit my way, or the highway. And in the driveway is a nice range. Cause I grind through the climb, I invite pain. You'll never hear me, bitch, nah, I don't complain. Just gotta flip the switch and you can go and obtain anything you want, anything you need. Your mind's got the key ingredient, it's belief. They'll deceive with the negativity, but I just slide right by that energy. Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go. You got a mind, but even that could change. You could flip the gray matter like some batter in your brain. That's why I say, fake it till you make it A. And if you play that game, then you just might make a change. Rearrange all the bad to okay. Take the worst thoughts saying, turn them to a game. Take the best thoughts saying, put them on display. On repeat in your brain till you're feeling no more pain. Never slow yourself down, you can do some more. Push past all the pain and you'll find a door. Open it up and finally explore everything that you thought you could never do before. And even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go. Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 yo, go, go, go. Hustle hard, hustle every single day. I'll be making moves till I'm buried in my grave. To the system, I don't wanna be a slave. I've been doing shit my way, or the highway. And in the driveway is a nice range. Cause I grind through the climb, I invite pain. You'll never hear me, bitch, nah, I don't complain. Just gotta flip the switch and you can go and obtain anything you want, anything you need. Your mind's got the key ingredient, it's belief. They'll deceive with the negativity. Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Geek Gauntlet. Doggone it, here I go again messing up. It's been a long day, guys. Been a long days, but yes, welcome to the Sports Report Podcast. I'm your host, Mr. William D. Well, I know, Seven. I know it's been a long day. It's been a long day, but I'm here, living in the world. So let's go ahead and let's get an update from ESPN. So let me go ahead and bring on a special guest we have with us. We always want to show our special guest our hospitality. Then bring on my man from Geek News Now, Mark Trolley. Mark, what's up, man? How you doing tonight?
Oh, there I am. I'm doing pretty good. How are you, William?
Good to have you with us tonight. Thank you for stopping by. We do appreciate it. All right, let me bring on the rest of the crew. First, this is El Presidente. Let me bring Josie in. Josie, what's up? How you doing?
What's up, Mark? Trial by fire tonight. Jumped in on our pre-show meeting and saw the craziness that is the sports report behind the scenes before the shows.
Hey, I understand that totally, man. I understand that totally.
We're trying to be more professional, Mark. So we're trying to adopt a professional look. I know you wouldn't guess it when you see us, but professional. Mr. Morgan, HD, if you will, baby.
If you will, baby, I am here. I am the Black Dusty Rose. Let's go.
He's actually on camera, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, I'm on camera tonight. I don't know why.
I like that white person background you got back there.
Yes. It's very, very,
It looks like my brother's apartment.
It's very ESPN-ish. I normally save this for fight night, but the heck with it.
Round 1, fight.
Normally save that for fight night, but I just felt like playing that.
We got some fight night to talk about, though, dude. There's been
got a lot
some
to talk
news.
about. Yes.
We'll get to that.
Second thing, now I'm gonna bring up this next person. We have not seen this person in a minute. Let me bring the man who's known more baseball than I will ever know. Bring my man 7-7. What's up?
Look at this sexy Jew Pro. Look at the sexy Jew Pro.
I'm bringing the Jufro back, just so that Will, you can. I'm gonna grow it out and I'm gonna donate. It's gonna be like I'm donating it for Locks of Love, but I'm just gonna give it to you, so that you can get rid of that old man bald head.
Hey, Seven, you know what we do before you send it? We diet Justin Timberlake ramen.
Oh my gosh.
Right,
we won't have to die just before. I'm gonna do that in a couple weeks, man. Frosted Tips are coming back. I'm gonna get me some of that action.
Get some bye Timberlake.
Yeah, Martha's gonna tell me bye.
You might need to do it, Seven. You might need to do it, as they might be doing a reunion tour.
Facts. Facts. All right, let me bring on my next guest. So let's bring on my Blasian Asian. Haven't seen her in a minute. Let me bring my girl Erica on. Erica, what's going on with you? How you doing tonight? Why are you on mute?
I don't know. I have no idea. Hi.
You love us.
I'm going to take a shot in the dark and say Dan has something to do with that, but
more than likely,
I would agree.
He probably would. I mean, if I was a Yankees fan and upset that the West Coast was actually going to make it into the postseason, I'd do something to fuck with them too.
I love that we have the pastime of talking shit while Dan's out.
Love you,
can't
Dan.
do anything about it. That's one of my
kind
favorite
of our
things.
MO.
It's great.
I mean, you guys know I can
Because
add
he
myself to the
comes
show
in
at any point. Right?
And then Dan just jumps in for
Right.
the intro.
I just sitting back here.
The man who needs no introduction, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Dan the Dick
He
Warner.
is the head of Walmart. He is the CEO of Walmart and trailer parks all throughout this great country. Dan the Dick, what's up, man?
It's good, bro. It was a good day today. My credit score went from very poor to poor.
Damn.
Dan,
Like
I meant to
it.
tell you.
And that's why I had a cigar.
What the hell did you do to trigger that?
Moving on up.
Also, it looks like that Tony and Will's background should be switched around. And then it only looks like Will's trying to keep up with your three white backgrounds. Like Erica, Mark, and Josie have the three whitest person backgroununds. Like, I think there's a Jesus photo in Mark's background. Is there please a Jesus photo?
Now we got the three black backgrounds together.
There you go.
There you go. When I clicked on the new link, this background showed up, which I don't know how, because I don't have it on my.
It looks like you're Martha from Martha's Vineyard
I figure I'll just keep
in that background.
I figure
Yeah, that's a
it's
interesting
I'm
setup.
just glad to learn that you know how to read, Will. Like that's
Yes.
that's kind of the biggest thing for
Hold
me.
on,
There's a lot
hold on. To be fair, all these back here are picture books. So I just want y'all to read. They're all picture books.
I was gonna say,
I can read, but I ain't got no time for it. I need the picture book.
does that say fantasy football for the elderly soul? Is that one of those books? That's the picture, one of the picture books in the background. Sorry. Go ahead.
Before we
Oh,
get
man.
into it, I did want to say I know this is a sports show, but we've got to make this known. Rest in peace, Jimmy Buffett, and rest in peace. Now his name is going to leave me.
Steve
but
Howell.
the lead singer,
Steve Howell.
Yeah.
Two voices of a generation passed within a week of each other.
Pump the brakes. Pump the brakes on the second guy. You couldn't even remember his name.
Hang on.
I couldn't even
Hang
remember
on.
his name.
Hang on. The reason I say that is because All Star, because I just know him as Smash Mouth. That's all I know him by.
It makes me want to put my finger and my thumb on my forehead and point it at you. Is what it makes me want.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I have respect for Steve Howell and what Smash Mouth did, but unfortunately, Smash Mouth is
almost a one-hit wonder.
Being a one-hit wonder.
Yeah.
I mean,
what saved them is Shrek.
Yeah. And two of their biggest hits, other than All Star, were actually written by other people and made famous by other bands before.
Yes.
I mean,
the Monkees.
What
What
were they, Mark? What were the songs though, for real? Because I'm trying to. It was the Monkees.
Let's see. You have
the Monkees one is the one from Shrek. It's
I can't think of the name of it.
Shit.
I'm a Believer.
I'm a believer.
There you go.
I'm a believer.
Right. Okay. And then All Star is an anthem of the night.
Yeah.
It's a really dumb
anthem. Better way to put it, Dan. Better way to put it.
It's a really dumb anthem.
I think that was the year that it came out. It was the song of the summer. If I remember correctly, it was that year. What was that, like 96, 97?
90, like 97, 98, because it was the year I graduated.
Okay, which is hard. 97, 98. The song of the summer. But I think that the truth is, with Steve Howell's death, one thing we've got to consider. Mental health is always the thing that I touch on, and a lot of what brought Steve Howell to an early passing was issues that he got from his addictions. And he was only 56.
Yeah, I saw that.
He's been suffering liver failure for the past few months.
So. Yeah,
from drinking.
If you're struggling with an addiction, it's not a weakness to get help. I'd say that often on this. I've said it multiple times on my other show, First Generation Dad, which will be coming back in some capacity here before the end of the year. Take care of your mind first.
Can we also put some respect on that man's name and just say, like, do you know how hard it is to drink out your liver? That thing regrows, man. Like, he was partying, bro. Like, he was getting it if he actually made his liver shut down.
It takes a lot to really bring it down that early, and that's what makes it even worse. Like, because how much it takes. Like, Dan Warner drinks enough to keep several distilleries in the Midwest in business himself, and his liver is fine.
Best shape of my life. Yep.
So
Dan Warner
it's PBR.
It's still open.
It's PBR mostly. It's got a lot of protein in it.
Actually, Dan, I saw the other day that they're reopening the PBR plant down here.
The place?
PBR's making a comeback.
Factory? PBR's already made the comeback, bro. PBR went from being the cheapest beer 10 years ago to now it's one of the most expensive beers because it's nostalgic and hipsters started to drink it. And we got country dudes. No. Country dudes around here may have been drinking that shit for 50 fucking years. And it's because if you drink enough of them, they grow on you. That's really what it is. Like, it becomes an actual acquired taste. And it's disgusting. It tastes like a skunk beer at first.
Beer in general.
And
especially like name brand beer, that feels like that's in general to me.
It's got a real weird skunk taste to it that's like actually really good after a second.
What's up, Lane?
Just try
How you doing, man?
What's up, Lane?
It's like Gouda cheese.
Only a month for your Seattle Mariners to choke in the first round.
That's triggering. I mean, that's just him trying to trigger me. Or is that who do we? I feel like we got somebody working the puppet strings.
Yeah.
I'll put
That's true. Yeah, that's fine.
You do he says that, but as of our win and their loss, we are tied for first place, jackass.
Wait, hey, he's not talking. What are you talking about? This one right here? He's talking about the Yankees. Yeah, are you a Yankees fan now?
No, I was.
You're talking about Seattle.
I was talking about this one.
Okay.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, they're going to be in the playoffs. Yeah.
But we're not talking about that. Actually, get ready to get into some baseball?
Oh, yeah, we're ready to get into some baseball. Let's do this.
I'm not sure.
I'm working on new intros.
Fighting attitude, Lane.
We're not using any of these. I'm working on new ones.
Okay.
Let's get into it.
Hang on. Baseball, that sevens thing.
Oh my
Can
God!
that just
Like,
be
you
my
and I
intro?
are gonna
I'm
fight.
gonna go back and clip this after we get done when I make shorts, and that's just gonna be my intro. That's what I want. So, Mark, you will forever be immortalized on my intro because I want that right there. Like that. That's just perfect. Okay, so
Seven
let's
me and
go.
Lane are gonna fight. We're gonna fight.
So let's starting off in baseball. Let's go ahead and talk about the biggest news. We've got two topics with baseball. The first is going to be last night. Julio Urias was arrested on felony domestic violence charges. He made $50,000 bond this morning. This is the same player that got kept on the Dodgers despite previous domestic violence issues, while Trevor Bauer was cut right before the start of the season after the Dodgers had told him that they were going to keep him on the roster and they were going to use him this year. So I'm gonna Erico and I are gonna kind of go back and forth on this one for a minute before we tee it up to everybody. And so when we were talking about this in our group chat, Erica, you posed a question that I have an answer to, and I want to get your opinion. And you posed a question like, with this domestic violence situation with Julio Urias and his wife, you asked the question, why stay in that situation instead of getting out of it? And you have experience as a victim of domestic violence. I was a child in a domestic violence relationship when I was a kid. So I'm going to speak from what I witnessed with my mom, and you can talk about your experience here. I think there comes a point in that kind of a situation where the abuser, because abusers can be male or female, so let's not get this mixed up. I'm not harping on men for this. So anybody that wants to try and come at me can kiss my black ass. Anyway, the abuser, more often than not,
it's incredibly white.
No, it's incredibly hairy, and that's why it's black. The abuser,
it's like pieces of food and stuff.
The abuser, more often than not, has convinced the victim that they aren't good enough to do anything anywhere else. They aren't good enough to find happiness. This is the best situation they're going to be in. And there is a lot of self-image issues in domestic violence victims that cause them to stay. And that is why this unfortunate person that Julio Urias has been in a relationship with, hopefully now it's gone, but you never know. My theory is that mental hold and that self-image of how a victim is forced to see themselves and made to believe themselves as being seen in that situation is what makes them feel so trapped and like they can't get out of the situation. And is that, from your experience, am I anywhere correct in that?
I mean, I think it was more like in my situation, it was more of like the gaslighting and like the manipulation. Like, yeah, there was a lot of, you can't find better than me. There was, no one's going to love you the way I do, like this and that. So, I mean, it's definitely, I don't know, like, it's a hard situation. Like, cause I like being someone that's been in that position, like it's really hard. I mean, and I also had a child with that person. So, I mean, like there was a bond with that person as well. That was more than just a relationship. It was also, oh my God, like, fuck, I have a child with this person. So, like as a parent, like you want better for your child than what you had. So in my mind, it was like, this will change, like this will get better, like it'll stop, because my daughter deserves to have her mom and dad, her mom and dad together, but it just came to this like head at one point in time. And it was like, literally like the straw that broke the camel's back, as people say. And it was just finally just like, I'm done. Like, I can't do this anymore. My daughter doesn't deserve this. I don't deserve this. And I just walked away. But like, she's been with Urias for years. Like the charge or the report from 2019, that was her. This is the same girl that's been with him. So, I mean, I get it from like a standpoint, because I mean, he could be turning and saying to her, oh, well, no one's going to be able to financially provide for you. Look at the money he makes. Look what he does for
financial hold. Yeah.
So I mean, it is like that gaslight and that manipulation that for a lot of females even males. I mean, because like you said, Tony, it's not always just females. You know, there is males that this happens to as well. It's just a lot more.
Look at what was going on with the Amber Heard and Johnny Depp situation.
Point proven right there. I mean, you had Amber. Oh, no. Like, this was all this, that. And it's like, no, honey. Like, you're really the abuser. You were legitimately the abuser in this situation. So, I mean, it goes either way. But it's really just the way that they're able to get their claws. I hate saying it that way, but the way they get their claws into you. It's once they've got that hook, it's a hook, and it's really hard to get away. I mean, and I know just from like my personal perspective, a lot more of it was I wanted my daughter to be able to have her mom and dad together, happy, you know, and have the life that I didn't necessarily have, you know. So
let's take a look at this next, and I'll kick this around the room. We'll start with you. What do you think the Dodgers do from this point? Does he stay on the team? Does he get kicked? Is it just this whatever suspension he gets? How do you think the Dodgers move forward, especially with the bar they set releasing Trevor Bauer in February?
I say they say fuck you to Chulichi, and they bring back Trevor Bauer and let Trevor Bauer play on the Dodgers, because no offense, what Bauer did ain't nothing compared to what this piece of shit woman-beating man is doing. It's not. Just because you like rough sex does not make you a bad person. It doesn't.
Yay!
Actually, usually gets you invited to funner parties. Will, what do you think? Will, what do you think, buddy?
Oh my gosh. Stop it.
As Will takes off his Git mask.
Just stop it, Dan. The whole thing to me, I agree with Erica. Just because you do like that stuff doesn't make you a bad person. Maybe a little freaky here and there, but it doesn't make you a bad person.
You realize you're talking to like a quarter of this entire group here.
Yes. And
life beats me up enough. Why not in sex either?
And despite everything, you know, at the end of the day, I still go through the old school way of thinking. You don't have a right to lay your hands on anybody in any given situation. So I think if we just lived off that old rule, I think everybody would be okay. I know it's 2023 and we want to try and experiment with new shit, but we just need to keep our hands off each other, especially in anger.
Yeah.
Mark, what do you think, buddy?
I mean, I think he should be gone. I think Will just said it very. I mean, I drive.
That's going to be the new term. Not to interrupt you, Mark, but that's the new term for vanilla sex.
Very vanilla sex. I don't think there's a more accurate way of describing it.
Everyone knows what that is. Everyone knows what that is.
Anyway, go ahead, Mark.
It's perfect.
Go ahead, Mark.
Anyway, little behind the scenes, I drive a bus for a living, and I have a bunch of kids, and we always tell them, keep your hands to yourself, keep your hands to yourself. If everyone would just live by that motto, keep your hands to yourself, you know. But yeah, I think that should be a no-brainer. You know, just you hit somebody, especially domestic violence, and yeah, you're out.
Josie, what do you think?
So I agree with what everybody said. I think his MLB career is probably done. MLB's had enough issues with domestic violence the last few years. They've gotten to a point where they don't really put up with it. To piggyback on what Eric said, I'm actually in the process of a divorce because we mutually agreed that our relationship was toxic. Was there actually either of us putting hands on each other? No, but I put some holes in some walls, and my daughter saw stuff that I wish she, even though she's only 5 and will never remember most of it, I realized that it was not a healthy place for her. And as much as it sucks to only see her every couple of weeks, me and her relationship is way better than it would have been had I stayed. And I know that.
Yeah.
Good job in making and taking the ownership and realizing you were in that situation, and both of you for doing something to make a difference rather than making each other and your child suffer. Because that's really fucking hard to do. I'm just gonna.
And I think
everyone
here, Will, Dan, Seven, since y'all have known me for several years, would say that, and my family says this too. I'm in a much, much, much better place than I was 2-3 years ago. Like even
you're not in Texas
a decade.
anymore.
Actually, you know what the sad part is? Seven is coming back to Texas actually helped. That's the sad part. This fucking state actually helped.
Dan, what do you think, buddy?
Oh, I'm gonna stay right on this track of us keeping it professional. There are so many jokes that I want to make right now that I'm not going to make because I love all of you guys, and it's just so many of them. I'll tell you after because they're really bad. They're really fucking bad. But Erica, honestly, this is all joking aside. I actually had two parents that stayed together for the kids, and look how I turned out. So you got
if there's not a better example for not staying together for the kids.
That's
what are you talking about?
In and of itself for not staying together for the kids. Dan just going,
guys, I clearly function well in society. Okay.
Yes, we see, Dan. We see.
I wear my sunglasses that night.
Yeah, clearly, no.
You look like Ted Kaczynski worked out a little bit. I'm just going to say.
You look like Ted Kaczynski boxes instead of sin boxes.
Damn.
Okay. All right. Another major thing in baseball.
One note on that. Sorry.
Okay, go ahead.
One note on Ted Kaczynski, just so we're going to take it off subject for just a second. Guy was kind of right about a lot of stuff. I'm not saying send bombs to people. I'm not saying send bombs to people. I'm not saying what he did about it was correct. What I am saying, read his manifesto. He's fucking spot on. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, but look, I do also have one other thing I want to add too. And this might sound really crazy considering what I said, but I am also that female that I'm sorry, this is going to sound really fucked up. But if you are a female that's willing to put a hands on a man and you're going to continue to put hands on that man, you better be ready to square up because people can only take so much until they snap. I'm sorry. Joe Mixon is a perfect example of that for when he was here at Oklahoma. He had some female stalking him and she kept doing it and she kept doing it. And he finally snapped and he lost his shit and he punched the shit out that bitch. I'm sorry. And that was while I was in the relationship with my abuser. And I still sat there and said, you get what you get and you don't get to throw a fit. You're sitting here harassing this man. What do you expect him to do? People can only be pushed so far.
Look at, and I'm gonna use two more examples, and then we're gonna move on to the other thing on baseball. Two more examples. Look at what the Kareem Hunt situation. Initially we think it's just Kareem Hunt giving some chick the Urban Meyer coaching treatment. In reality, what happened was this chick had been harassing him all night. He found out that she was underage, kicked her out of the group, and then she went crazy because of that. And he finally had enough and knocked her ass down. Now, is everything he did appropriate? No, but when people get pushed too far, shit will happen. The other example: look at what happened with Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill. There was so much time where everybody thought he was this horrible, abusive person, and then you have the Kansas City CBS affiliate editing audio recordings to make him look worse when in reality, the unedited recording shows that he was innocent the entire fucking time. And it was actually the boy's mother.
She actually admits it on tape. And they just decided to leave that part out. She says, I'm fucking trying to get money from him.
There is a point where things come too far, but we have to also understand that if we just stop treating each other like shit, a lot of problems would go the fuck away. Like it's just that simple. But
Josie says, be kind. It's not hard.
And Seven, let's not act like there's not a reason to hit a woman. Okay, I'm not saying hit a woman. I'm saying, but you can't think of one reason. I mean,
and actually,
just saying.
Dan, on that note, you said it.
How about I come home from work? She's drowned my 3 kids. She's working on the 4th one. Can I hit her then? Is that okay?
Well, and Dan, you kind of said it because Also, I would bet 90% of the time, the mental anguish that person has already been going through at that point before the physical gets involved. The physical is just what finally throws it over the edge. But it's from someone who's not been in a violent relationship, but I've been in some emotionally abusive relationships. They can push you so far, and then when they finally hit you, you just snap.
I mean, I'm shocked that I haven't physically struck a woman in my life. Let's be honest.
I've been punched in the face and resisted. So,
when I was 13, I
my nose is
my
crooked
cousin because she was choking my dog, but I did actually kind of feel bad for that.
Well, that's restraint more.
But okay, other baseball topic. So it was previously announced. I don't know how much you guys have talked about it, but I really have some shit to say on this. It was announced about a week or two ago that Shohei Ohtani has a tear in his UCL and is done pitching for the 2023 season. It was announced earlier today by Shohei's agent in a press conference that Shohei is going to have a surgery. They did not say what. If Shohei has to get a Tommy John surgery, this would be the second time in his career that he's gotten it. He's already gotten it once. And that likely through 2024, he will be DHing. Now, there was some stuff tonight. I want to look at this ESPN alert again.
Why are you looking at that? Let me bring in somebody who is very familiar with this show. He was just in the chat. You see him in as a different name, but we all know this man is Ando. Ando, what's up, brother?
What? Oh, a fellow Chiefs fan. Nice. Finally, some educated individuals in this room.
There are so many goddamn people on this screen.
But Shohei is likely DHing through all of 2024. And he is going to be a free agent after this season with the mass dump that the Angels did about a week and a half ago of 6 players that were cut. It is very clear that the Angels have not only rage quit the season, but probably the next 2. How much does
destroyed the careers of 2 of the possible greatest players of a generation?
Mike Trout needs to just ask for a trade. Seriously, he needs to get the hell out of there. And Shohei obviously has been ruined. How much do you think this impacts his contract negotiations in the offseason for the big deal that we think Shohei is going to get?
Big time. I think it cuts it by 100,000 at least.
100 million.
100 million. Sorry, thank you, Dan.
I was saying 100,000. That's
I know
you could make
100 million.
Game with
Sorry, guys. I've told y'all I'm math stupid. I'm smart on a lot of things. Math is not one of them.
What do you think?
He's not going to get 331.2. He's going to get 331.1.
Right.
Yes, that's right.
Exactly.
No,
Will,
I
what
think
do
he
you
loses
think,
at least 100 million off of that deal in a couple of
Makes
years.
sense.
In a couple of years? Okay. Will, what do you think?
I gotta go with a couple of years.
A couple of years?
Same with the price, Will?
Yeah, it's same with the price.
Mark, what do you think, buddy?
Yeah, I mean, I can see, but I mean, at the same time, even without his ability to pitch, you're still looking at one of the greatest baseball players to ever play the game.
Absolutely.
And I mean, he's still going to get a boatload of money no matter where he goes. And I mean, but yeah, I agree. I think 2 years.
It's not a lifetime achievement award though, Mark.
Yeah.
If he can't pitch, he's a $300 million DH. I'll give him $300 million to do either one. And that's why he was going to get so much money, is because he could do both. And I say this every time. Right. And every time I talk about Shohei, the biggest thing I think for a lot of these GMs, dude, they get an extra roster spot. They get a starting pitcher and a DH, and they get to add somebody to their roster because they have one who does both. That's fucking nuts, dude. An extra guy on your team is pretty fucking meaningful a lot of the time, especially a bullpen guy pitching is huge. And I think that was his biggest draw. So me and Seven have talked about it. He's going to be a closer probably, I would imagine, at some point.
I think Japan had it right. Yeah.
So you give Craig Kimbrell $200 million, and you gave Yordan Alvarez $300 million. That's $500 million. That's an all-star closer and a fucking. I didn't know he was that good of a hitter, dude. I'm not gonna lie to you. I thought he'd have a little bit of power, and he was just out there, he can just swing. He has a great swing, and Like, this motherfucker can hit, dude. He's got a great eye. He can fucking rake, dude, everywhere. He's not just a power hitter. Like, he's a DH. He's a fucking hitter. And, like, left-handed, like, I mean, the guy's the full package. Plus, oh, yeah, he's, like, the 4th fastest guy in baseball. He's, like, up there. So, like,
He's
it's
a
like,
unicorn.
absolutely. Like, he's Ellie De La Cruz that can pitch.
Yeah.
Before, I mean, it's the same thing. Like,
that is literally probably the best way to sum up Shohei right there. That was it.
he's not he's not a middle infielder. I get that part. That is a huge deal part of it with Ellie, but like that's a whole different subject. But yeah, I mean, it's going to cut a lot of money off of it, but it ain't going to be dude. He's going to be the highest paid player in Major League Baseball history. No fucking doubt about it. They're going to give him the keys to the goddamn city just on the promise that he might be able to pitch.
We're talking about Tony, right?
Yes.
I do.
Shohei. Yeah.
I do think that he is still one of the highest paid major league player. I think he won't break the record for highest paid athlete now.
No, those soccer guys are always going to hold.
But he would have if he got the 750 million we were talking about.
So here's the question I want to ask you guys: does he stay an Angel next year?
No
way.
I don't think so.
If the Angels were a contender for the playoffs, you could say that they are.
So
go ahead.
Sorry. My thing is, I kept wondering is, if you knew right now that there's no way Shohei is going to be on your team at the end of the year because he's a free agent, why not? Why didn't they trade him?
They should have.
They should have.
They were holding on to playoff hopes because they.
I have a theory on this, and I think I may have said this previously a little bit in an episode that I popped in on. So it was said previously, and I think I saw it in an ESPN article that they have known about issues in his right arm since May. So my theory is the entire reason that Shohei was not traded so that the Angels actually got something in return for losing him is because they knew that when he got traded, he'd have to go through another physical with another team, and they would find out about those right arm issues, and everything would fall apart.
Yeah, everything would be voided because of the injuries to the claws. My concern is if the Angels do the Angels have first off the salary cap to re-sign him, and if they do have the salary. And if they do have the salary cap to re-sign him, can you persuade him to maybe take a little bit less to add somebody else either to the rotation of the pitching or somebody else to the batting core? Because at the moment right now, with the way that Texas, Houston, and Seattle is playing in that just that division alone, not even the AL, just that division alone, with the future that Seattle and Texas has, I don't know if Houston is going to be able to keep their core intact for the next couple of years, but I think it's safe to argue that Texas and Seattle are going to be the two teams running. Can they keep Ohtani and build around him with the salary cap that they have? If they can't, they got to let him walk because at this point right now, like Seven said, with the injury that he has to that right arm, and if they haven't even confirmed that it's Tommy John surgery that he's going to need to take, if it's Tommy John's, that's how much more time added on plus the rest of this season that he's going to miss. Right. You're not going to be able to trade him. So now at this point, he's going to walk. But what team is going to take a contract of $500 million, $600 million, $750 million for a guy that isn't even going to be able to play next year, if indeed it is Tommy John?
Boston, New York, and then the Dodgers.
I was just going to say that. Send him to the Bronx, baby.
Are you? Guys, okay, so I'm going to say
anybody will spend that money. It's Shohei. Why wouldn't you? Because even at the end of the day, if he can't pitch, look at the fucking bombs this dude sent.
Fair
enough.
But
At the end of the day, someone's still going to pay that money. But also at the end of the day, my honest opinion, it's Tommy John, y'all. Let's be real. Okay.
Yeah.
It is. They're playing close to the belt.
For me as a fan of baseball, I don't want to put money into a player that I don't know is going to give me the full.
That's why you don't have to pay for him.
Everything that he has.
And I get that.
Realistically, here's what's going to happen. So the Angels have the resources to build around Shohei. Unfortunately, Art Moreno, the owner of the Angels, in that front office, are dumber than a bag of hammers. And I'm going to say it just like that's the nice, politically correct. I don't want to get canceled today way that I can describe that team right now. And so the reason why they're not going to get Shohei back is because Shohei has seen that from the inside. This is the same team that lost a player in 2019 because of the fact that he was doing drugs and crashed his boat. This is the same team that when the sticky stuff investigations were done, it was found out that they were making a sticky substance that was illegal in Major League Baseball and selling it to pretty much any pitcher in the league that asked for it. Yeah, this organization is fucking horrible. Art Moreno should have sold the organization when he had it on the market instead of taking it off. And the way that this organization is currently being run is entirely why they won't keep Shohei, because they have the resources. They just don't have the intelligence to competently get it done.
Right.
Do you think it's kind of ironic that they're going to give, like, Shohei's going to get $427 million because that'll be the highest MLB salary ever. And it's, you know, who you got the 426, right? His teammate, Mike Trout, has the 426. So how do you ever justify losing all the time and doing that? There's almost no way to get around it, I don't think. I don't think just as an organization that's even possible. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't, like, what do you, like, you better, that's some expectations then if he comes back. A little bit of expectations for you there, Art.
But
good luck, Art.
That's the Angels failing Mike Trout. They haven't put anybody around him. That's the
old Detroit Lions of baseball, because obviously the current Detroit Lions are putting a program together.
Yeah,
but
yes, they are.
Detroit Lions beforehand, when they were just built around Megatron, when they just built around,
you could make the argument around Barry too, that they didn't
around Barry, around Matt Stafford. They did the same thing to Matt Stafford.
I could not think of his name.
It's that's exactly what the Angels are doing. They are just, we were lucky enough that the Angels had two talents instead of one that they were building around.
Yeah.
But the truth of the matter is that organization wasted the prime of both of their careers.
I didn't realize I didn't realize Shohei was in the league since 2018. I thought he'd only been in the league since 2021. So that's,
he missed the year already. He missed the year already because of the first Tommy John.
Yeah. I say he
it was
it was 2019 that he missed.
2020 he only played 44 games, but that's because also with COVID and everything too.
It was 19.
Yeah, there was only like 60 games in the season.
It was 19.
Yeah, so 19. Well, it could have been 18 as well, because 18 he played 104 games, and then in 2019 he played 106.
Oh, okay. So he didn't miss the season.
The recovery time for Tommy John is a lot shorter than it used to be. It used to be almost 2 full years before you were back to 100%. Yeah. But now they can get you back. They can get you back to where you're a bullpen arm in 8 months.
Yeah. They can get you back to where you're bionic. Let's be honest.
Walker Buehler for the Dodgers right now is doing rehab assignment in OKC, and he just had Tommy John, I think, 5-6 months ago.
Yeah.
So I mean, and he's already back rehab here in Oklahoma City. He should be back with us by the time postseason. So I mean,
he'll be on your postseason roster.
He's got one of them.
We're definitely going to need him now.
He's got one of them Bucky Barnes arms now.
All right, you have a metal arm? That's awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty much. That's what Walker. Hey, don't you feel like the metal arm thing's just a little beaten down?
A little bit.
All right, you guys. Let's go ahead and move on to our next topic, which is your segment, Josie. We're gonna get into some pro wrestling. Go ahead and get into it, Josie.
So
here's a story
coming out of the wrestling world.
No.
What did he just say?
Are we
Here's
talking
a
about
story
the story
of a guy named Danny. Oh, you guys gotta come back up. It doesn't work. It looked like a Brady Bunch there for a second. It was all. You see it? I was right in the middle.
Yes.
There's this. You can't bring him up because he's not on there.
We are talking. The only thing I really want to talk about as far as wrestling.
Okay,
y'all are tripping me the fuck out. Stop it. There's only one thing really to talk about this right now.
Already.
I'm not going to be able to stop it if it comes back up.
The only real news coming out of the wrestling world right now is, as of yesterday, CM Punk was fired from all Elite Wrestling.
Saturday, he was fired.
Saturday. I'm sorry. You're right. Saturday.
Saturday. Saturday. Yes.
There's been so much wrestling. It's all kind of ran together.
Yep.
Stax went to the pay-per-view down there in Chicago.
Yeah, he was at the pay-per-view.
That was all out. That was this weekend.
Yeah. So I gotta say,
I have a wrestling question, by the way, when you're done.
There is a lot of ways to look at this, and I do not believe that he is the only part to blame, but I do believe CM Punk holds a lot of the blame of how bad his second run went.
Yep.
Now, mind you, I will say the Elite should not have stormed his locker room as EVPs. I will say Jungle Boy probably shouldn't have checked him and did all that stuff. He did it all in. But however, especially on the All In incident, Punk is almost 50 years old. Jungle Boy is 26. This is a man that's been in this business for 20 plus years.
Didn't show him no
He should have
respect.
handled it way, way better than he
Should have
did.
been more mature.
And I'm sorry, but the thought of a 49-year-old man 20 years into his career saying, I hate it here. I don't want to be here anymore.
There's the door.
Get the fuck out.
I was a Punk fan back in 2011 when he dropped the pipe bomb. I thought that was probably the best thing for his career. I'm not going to lie. I thought Punk did the right thing of walking out of WWE when he was not giving a main event slot. I honestly believe he should have been the one to take the streak from Taker at 29. That being said, I personally believe... Go ahead.
I was just going to say, all I agree with, and I was one of those people that was like, he deserves this All Elite shot.
Yep.
This is going to be awesome. He deserves this.
The
And he
fact
shit on it.
the fact that Roman Reigns' Universal Championship run ran longer than CM Punk's AEW career, I am going to stand on solid ground. I don't care who comes at me. Punk's wrestling career at this point is over. You're going to see him mid-shows. If that, you'll see him on house shows. At this point, I don't think he's wrestling ever again. I don't care the pedigree that he has. He's been toxic in 2 locker rooms, 2 biggest promotions. Anybody would argue right now. I think the only other one is TNA. I don't think TNA has the money to give him. I think at this point right now he's done. Unless WWE reaches an olive branch. But even at this point with Triple H running it the way that he's running it, and I think he runs it very well, I think Punk is officially done with wrestling. I think that right there made the bed, and he's going to have to sleep at it at this point moving forward.
I do want to say this. There's no other company that can pay him the money that he's looking for.
Yep.
Impact can't pay him.
Nope.
NWA sure as hell can't pay him.
Nope.
So there's no one left to pay him.
No, there's not.
Feels he would be worth.
I think the E calls him, and I think that we might see something of like a Legends role, like realistically.
With the bridges that he has burned with WWE, I don't think so, man.
I don't think so.
I believe that at this point he is done. I don't, because the way it's not necessarily why he burned the bridges, it's how he burned those bridges. And at this point,
That's fair.
I don't think there's any way that you can reconcile that without Punk looking in the mirror and saying, 90% of this is my fault. What can I do to fix it? Punk is stubborn. Punk is hard-headed. He's not going to go.
There's no way he does it.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
That actually brings me to my next point in this is there's 3 things that can happen as far as how Punk handles this situation.
Okay.
1, he sets fire to AEW. He blames it all on them. He shits on them, which honestly, it's not going to hurt AEW. It's going to hurt Punk.
Exactly.
But it's also not out of character for him to do at this point.
It's not. It's not. And that's why it's actually an option. Number 2 is he gives them their roses. He says he's happy for the time he spent there, blah, blah, blah.
He won't do that either.
Company line, toe the shit, which would probably help both get past this whole debacle.
Okay.
And the third one is he doesn't say shit. Nothing.
But it's Punk. He's not going to keep his mouth shut.
No,
I honestly think on this one, he doesn't say shit. I think he's just going to keep his mouth shut, and I will. But however, on this, WWE was possibly interested to bring him back to 2020 3 Rumble. I don't believe that. I don't think WWE wants anything to do with him. I believe his professional wrestling career is done. He's not going to sign with NWA Impact. They don't have the money to pay him.
What's up, Dan?
What's up, Dan?
I have a question. It's a two-parter. Number one for Josie. You're really not good at betting, huh? Did you just bet that CM Punk, a professional wrestler, was not going to say anything about his departure from maybe he's just going to stay quiet?
He never said anything about his WWE departure.
Hold on.
Professional wrestler.
I'm going to argue with that because he was cool. He was going to keep his kind of his nose clean, not talk to anybody about it until Vince fired him on his wedding day. It was when Vince fired him that he started making all the accusations and claims on WWE.
Where the narrative was set up for him to talk.
Exactly.
But
on his wedding day.
At this point,
I'm not saying it's his fault. I'm just saying,
yeah.
And now
he's a wrestler.
I understand where you're coming from on that, Dan. But at this point, like I said, he has nothing to really gain. None of the companies that would hire him can pay him enough to get him. WWE wants anything to do with him. He'll never work in AEW again. So.
Part 2 of that is for Ando. This question, Ando, completely unrelated. Completely unrelated. Why are all the pay-per-view names like porno names? There's All In and like SummerSlam and like TNA's hosting the fucking All In, All Out Royal Rumble.
You forgot Bound.
You
forgot Bound for Glory.
Dude, you forgot Crown Jewel.
Yeah,
Crown Jewel.
Ando, the best one. Great Balls of Fire.
Yes.
There you go. Looks like my LimeWire playlist from high school.
That should have been hosted by Preparation H. You dropped the ball, WWE, on your sponsorship for that pay-per-view. That should have been sponsored by Preparation H.
It's honestly, it's weird, or it's like the best marketing ploy of all time.
That's exactly what it would be. It would be the best marketing play.
There's probably some horny mofos who are like, "Hey, Great Balls of Fire sounds like the new HBO Skinamax."
No.
Wrestling fans?
Have we met Vince McMahon?
No way. There's a bunch of middle-aged white horny guys that watch wrestling.
Vince McMahon, who can come up with the most. Vince McMahon, who can come up with the most racist gimmicks imaginable.
Yeah.
Let's not forget. As much of a quality amount of content as we got out of the Attitude Era, there were so many damn racist gimmicks in that fucking era.
Especially very loosely.
Yeah.
Very
quantity
loosely.
over quality was McMahon's kind of motto at that point.
Yeah,
between him and Vince Russo, that off the wall shit.
Let me tell you, bro.
Let me tell. Oh man,
Crash TV, bro. Crash TV, bro.
I tried to read what he posted about this whole CM Punk thing, and I couldn't even get through half of it because he uses bro 5 times.
Dude, that's his. Yeah, bro is like his.
Does the WWE title, or does it not go straight through Vince McMahon's chode? You have to get that thing. You have to have it inside of you at some point to be the WWE champion.
Let's not get Vince McMahon wrong. He probably has a list of pay-per-views taped to his gooch as we speak. And he's just going to pull it out at some board meeting. Smells like success, guys. What's next on the list?
You know what this smells like? Money. Get over here.
I don't want to.
It's not going to suck itself.
I don't want to take up too much more time with this segment, but I did want to bring up one thing. Ando will, because I know y'all are my 2 diehard wrestling fans.
I don't know if I'd say diehard, but sure.
You follow current product enough to know.
I try to, yeah.
So, does AEW have an all-out curse? Like, you've now had 2 all-outs where it's been marred with conflict from your backstage. Now, mind you, both of those were from part of the same dude.
Mm-hmm.
But
because it was back-to-back years where CM Punk was the problem and all that, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know if there's a proactive curse. I don't think Tony Khan went into that to be like, Hey,
Thank
Punk,
God this man
Punk,
finally
cost-
grew some
cost-
goddamn balls.
Yeah,
Thanks
come on, Punk.
God
cost-
this man
I don't-
finally grew some balls.
I don't see Tony being that guy to kind of cause troubles behind the scenes. That being said, Bischoff said it best: controversy creates cash.
Oh yeah.
So
supposedly All Out ended up doing better than they were expecting.
Well,
So-
okay, so let's look at this, right? For how many months did you promote that All Out was going to be in Chicago? Knowing that All In was going to be there, you have all of these Chicagoans who are going to watch All Out, believing that their savior, CM Punk, will be there. Now it's, oh, we're going to announce 24 hours before the event that Punk is fired at this point. Tony, if he was a smarter man, would have been like, hey, Punk, we're going to fire you, but we're not going to announce it until Monday night, or we're not going to announce it until after the pay-per-view. If I'm Tony Khan, knowing that people in Chicago, because I don't know how many people issued refunds or how many people didn't show up to the event thinking CM Punk was going to be there, and now because he's fired, he won't be.
I heard the exact opposite. Their ticket sales actually went up,
and it's very possible. I think AE fans kind of are more inclined to, I hate using the word marks, but they're not. I think they kind of know, hey, there's shit that goes on behind the scenes, so not everything is oh my god.
We've talked about it on this show before, and I don't like really putting it this way, but it's just AEW fans are smarter fans.
Yeah, I can go with that. They're not your run-in-the-mill WWE fans.
They're purists.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you. That's the best. Most AEW fans are pro wrestling fans.
Mm-hmm.
They're not sports entertainment fans.
Yeah, and there is a difference.
There is.
I still feel like every segment of Fight Night is like going into an audition with Bill Cosby. I go in, and then when I'm out, I'm just confused, and I like right now.
Have you had enough of Bill Cosby's Jello?
I've been drinking. I finished the goddamn thing.
But
and now you fall fast.
Hold on. Now keep in mind, if I remember right, I think there may be an AEW event coming to Cleveland pretty soon. So it's very possible Bill Cosby gets his boy Deshaun Watson to show up. Just saying. Meet him,
It's called like the ropes and massages.
Yes.
Mark, I want to hear from you. What do you think about the CM Punk situation?
It's really hard for me because I've been a Punk fan even before he was in WWE. Like, I remember seeing this stuff in ROH, and
another company he had issues with.
Yeah, and just there's part of me that's just like, oh man, I want to like this guy. I want to like, because he's
charismatic as fuck.
He is. He is. He makes you want to care about him. And
he's
it's
God
just
tier on the mic, but it's
But yeah, he's a monster on the mic, and yeah, it's just hard when your heroes turn out to be. They always say, never meet your heroes, and it's hard when the people that I wouldn't say I grew up with Punk, because Punk's literally my age. I literally have the same birthday as him, and we're like a year apart. But
I grew up with LeBron. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I'm gonna mute your microphone.
It is the same. Well, it's the same thing.
I muted myself. I said it's all about MJ.
Because like more than half of your life, Mark, this guy's been in wrestling, though, right?
Yeah, true.
Really.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like 1 to 10 doesn't really count, right? we could start the whole wrestling thing at 10. So it's been with your whole life.
Yeah, I for so many years I watched him kind of come up through the indies in Chicago and get the big break, and now to see this is just like, it's for me, it's sad and disappointing, because I was such a big fan, and he had such the capability to be one of the greatest of all time. I mean, he had the charisma, he had the mic skills, everything.
Before this AEW run, he was on some people's lists as the greatest of all time.
Even with all of this, because the WWE has brought back some people that have burned some bridges before.
Hulk Hogan being one of them.
Hulk Hogan, Ultimate Warrior. Bret Hart.
Bret Hart.
Yeah. Is there a chance, say, 10, 20 years from now, Punk gets in the WWE Hall of Fame?
Oh, in WWE, yeah, I would definitely say it happens.
At some point, he will. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Mark, you just said it. The thing about the wrestling industry is it's got a short memory. There's a chance in 10 to 15 years that AEW brings them back for some reason or another. Like wrestling's got a very, very short memory.
I'm just a sexy boy. Sexy boy. I'm not your boy toy.
Oh, stop.
I just picked that picture up off of my floor in my garage. I'm not joking you.
You should probably clean your garage then.
It was just randomly fell off the table.
I know we need to move on, but my final thought on that is, with this behind them, AEW really needs to get back to putting on some good product and get away from the drama. They need to keep their backstage out of the fucking news for a while.
Dude,
absolutely.
I'm so confused. That used to be wrestling.
What do you
that
mean?
used to be the whole thing.
But
it's
see,
not
back in the
restricted
day,
things that are a problem.
that was all. The backstage back in the day was all kayfabe. You didn't hear about
Macho Man doing cocaine off of fucking Hulk's ass and all that shit.
You didn't hear about Mark Calloway pulling out a pistol on somebody.
Oh yeah.
Like all that, or them running a train on some stewardess or something. Like all the backstage stuff was
why
kept
do you guys
behind. But now in the time of Twitter and all that, and it's not a good look for the company when they're
I will say this: we made fun of him a little bit, but I did actually read Vince Russo's thing, and his whole thing was the crux of it was, back in the day, all of that shit used to be handled in the locker room. It stayed in the locker room, and we took care of it. He's like, he even made a comment of like, having somebody, run right through him trying to get to Luna Vachon. And he said that because there wasn't these marks out there, going on the internet trying to get, stir up stuff and everything like that. Everything was handled in the locker room, and it stayed in the locker room, and nobody heard about it because it didn't get out.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't that time. Like dirt sheets were months behind any drama that was coming out. And the dirt sheets that were there, the dirt sheets that they did have back in the day still were kayfabe. They still tried to keep kayfabe. So anything that they put out was done in a definite spin that the companies would try and keep their...
Unless you were Dave Meltzer, and then Dave Meltzer tried to supersede all the marks and tell everything that was going on behind the stage.
Yeah. He's the kind of... You could look at Meltzer for turning dirt sheets into what they are today.
Yeah.
Sorry, after listening to Eric Bischoff on 83 weeks, I have a massive disdain for Dave Meltzer.
I can't.
I jumped on the bandwagon
on that podcast.
What's that?
I can't stand Eric Bischoff on that.
Look, when you get to meet
Bischoff is up there. Bischoff is up there with Cornette and guys who are just stuck in the past when it comes to
I will only argue that because I got to meet him at a meet and greet for an MWA show in Chicago 2 years ago, and the dude downright down to earth, down to party. I told him that I hated him and my sister hated him, and he said that's what bad guys do, so I guess I did my job right. And once he said that, it's kind of like, dude,
I get that, but I don't hate the character. I don't like the man.
Okay. All right.
And it goes the same with Jim. There is Eric Bischoff I have respect for in some of the things that he did. Yeah. And I do think some of the things he says are smart. Mm-hmm. However, Jim Cornette, I just think is a horrible human being. Horrible human being. But anyway,
I've never listened to anything from Jim Cornette, so.
But yeah, my final thought is AEW needs to get back on track. They have seen some ratings falls in the last few weeks. And this the Saturday probably didn't help them considering they were going up against Payback, which we'll talk about tomorrow, but wasn't a terrible pay-per-view.
No, I thought Payback was good.
Considering. But yeah.
Do you guys all like
tomorrow night, 9 Central? I think Mr. Stacks will
Dun,
be
dun, dun,
back, and talking about how All Out was live, bastard.
At some point, can you guys like get together as a group with your knowledge of professional wrestling and like make me a shtick so I can be an amateur professional wrestler? Like I'll just like you guys can make my whole fucking thing.
You know how many gimmicks I have rolling around in the back of this head? Like
that's what I'm saying. Like I'll just start juicing, dude. Like tomorrow. Like I'll just start fucking juicing. And then like you just guys get me out here and like just be like, yeah, you just gotta like run out and do this. And I'll be like, sweet. And I know nothing about wrestling. I know nothing about it.
I will say this, and I'm a wrestling fan, but just go to a local indie show. I guarantee you will be bigger than a lot of the people who's at the local indie show.
Yep.
Dude, I'm talking about like I want some fucking face paint, bro. Like some some shit. Like I want some like Road Warrior stuff. Like you know what I'm saying? Like some shoulder pads with some spikes on it or something.
So Josie, here's what I'm gonna say. You get the cocaine for Dan. Will get the steroids.
I know where to get the steroids.
I'll be the manager, right? I'll be the guy that's kind of the mouthpiece. I'll talk for Dan. Dan goes out there, hits people with the chair, and then that's how we'll do it.
Bro, I think I'd be pretty fucking awesome on the mic. I'm not gonna lie to you. I have no idea what I'm fucking talking about.
Okay.
I'll be out here like I don't even know what
that makes it even better.
Dan, we would want to let Dan loose on an open mic. It would kind of be like
we can't give him everything at once though. So let Dan juice up. Let Dan
Fair
go
enough.
completely crazy for 6, 7, 8 months. And
you
then
guys are my team.
I'm
putting my trust in you. You guys are my team.
You got to listen to your team, Dan. You got to listen to
my team.
Member.
Just run it in.
I'm only as good as the worst member.
Team Dick Johnson. That's going to be your name. You're Dick Johnson. And we're gonna put on your T-shirt the biggest dick. That's it.
I'm gonna be all in. Just all in.
He runs in and just drops elbows that we call the anaconda.
Yes.
Yep. I like it.
All right, guys.
I'm gonna have to wear a prosthetic in those tight pants.
Call it the mushroom stamp.
That's
there you go.
Perfect.
That's even better.
Call it the mushroom stamp.
I like it.
All right.
See, it's already coming together.
We gotta he's got to have a super kick called Just the Tip.
Hey.
Just the tip followed by the mushroom stamp. That's how it is.
He does the eye poke. The captain is saying eye poke, but it's just the tip.
And then within 2 minutes, we had you a gimmick.
Yep.
Look at that.
No. Before we go in, he does the elbow drop right to their ass.
Right to the ass. Yes.
Yep. I might even try and fuck some dudes out there. Who knows? We get real serious about this. Crickets. Moving on, Will.
You made a homosexual joke. There's the cricket.
We need to move on, my guys.
You're looking really good tonight, Will.
We need to move on, my guys. Let's go ahead and start getting into some college football. We got a couple of games that we need to get into. My Florida State Seminoles get a big win. Colorado gets a huge big win. And I'm going to roll over to my man, Seven. I know Seven want to talk about Colorado. Seven, take it away.
I watched every snap of that Colorado game. I'm
because you wanted to.
Because I wanted to. Because I am a Deion Sanders fan. I am not a college football fan.
I'm a Coach Prime fan.
I am a Deion Sanders fan. I love watching him play when I was a kid, and so he did great last year at Jackson State, and so I wanted to see what he had to do, what he could create in a Power 5 school. Now I want to say first about this game that Vegas was absolutely fucking moronic in putting TCU as a 21-point favorite.
Oh,
that was the easiest bet to take. That Colorado was gonna cover that spread. There is no way Prime's losing by 21 points. They're just.
Do you think Prime's? I was gonna say, do you think Coach Prime's gonna let them lose by 21 points the entire year?
No. Oh God.
They won't. They won't lose by 21 the whole year.
No.
Just out of fucking what he will do if they do. Like that's what level they're playing. And it's not even bad. Like I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean like
we said this a lot coming up to this season is that he had a lot to live up to and a lot of people weren't giving Prime the respect he deserved because Jackson State wasn't a notable school. But he rebuilt that program. 63 new players. 63.
I heard 83 is how many it was. 83 transfers.
Oh, was it 83?
It was 83 because who was the team? Texas State that beat Baylor. They had 67 and they had the.
That's the game I want to talk about, which we're about to
regardless,
talk about.
So when we talk about the Colorado game, I personally want to talk about, because like Shadur Sanders,
the most valuable Sanders on the field.
Most valuable Sanders on the field, 510 yards, 4 touchdowns, no picks. He had prime decision making. He's not a running quarterback. He's like a new age black version of Tom Brady.
Yeah, he sits in the pocket and throws unless he has to run.
Exactly, but even when he gets
how
pushed out
it
of the
should
pocket,
be.
I agree. The quarterback's position, your running should be your last. Should be like your last effort.
That's what made Lamar great in the beginning of his career. Is that Lamar did not always look for the run.
Player only, guys. His closest comp right now, if you just watch that one game, is Deshaun Watson. Player only.
Yes.
He is Deshaun Watson, and that is a pretty fucking good thing to be a college football player.
That was one of the things that pissed me off about Deshaun later in his Texans career is he stopped. He was always looking for the.
He was running for his life. He was running for his life. Is what he was doing.
He was.
I'll
give you that.
But
yeah.
But I
think
for me, the player that stood out the most in this game was Travis Hunter. Travis Hunter played 145 total snaps. Were actually snapped. There was another 7 on top of that where the play didn't get off because there was a pre-snap penalty. So it's really 152 total snaps in the game.
You're saying between offense and defense, right?
Between offense and defense, he had 145 played snaps. That is 13 targets with 11 catches, 119 yards, and 7 first downs out of those 13 targets. So that means over half the time he's at least getting you a first down. And then we look on the other side of the ball as playing a corner. There were 9 targets thrown in his direction. He did allow 3 catches, but he also had 1 pick and 3 broken up passes. So 4 out of the 9 targets, he got his hands on the ball. Almost 50% again.
7, and I know that we've talked about it. You skipped over that interception part. That was probably the best college interception I've possibly ever seen. If you guys watch that game,
complete talent in reading the play.
He jumps off of an out route from a wide receiver, and there is a running back wide open in the flat. Like it is literally, if you see that from the booth, you throw the fucking ball. There's not even a late throw or anything. And Travis Hunter comes off his dude 6 yards deep in the end zone and makes a play on a ball outside of the goal line. That is ridiculous. Like Joel Klatt literally for 2 minutes straight was like, I don't know what just happened. He was like, what the fuck just happened? He goes, I've seen that play 1,000 times, and that running back is wide open. That's a touchdown every time.
Gets a touchdown.
And Travis Hunter just out of nowhere.
And to further my interest in Travis Hunter. So I started to watch Undisputed with the return. And I have to say, I like what they do now versus what they had with just him and Shannon Sharp, because Skip Bayless talks a lot less, and he's got people there to keep him accountable from disrespecting the true talents of these NFL greats that sit on his set. But when they were talking about it this morning, near the end of the show, they had Coach Prime on, and they were talking about Travis Hunter. And the question was asked to Coach Prime, which do you think, because a lot of people are going to think in the NFL, it's going to be either he's a corner or he's a wideout. One or the other. Not very often that you see both. You want him to focus on one, maybe you use him a little bit in the other for a special trick play as a distraction. But the normal expectation is that he's going to be playing one side of the ball or the other. And the question was asked to Coach Prime, which do you think he will be able to do in the NFL? Which way do you think he would be able to go?
He can do both.
And Coach Prime said he can be one of those guys that actually does both. He talked about his conditioning and how they were trying to limit his work so that he didn't get overworked before the game. And they didn't want him practicing until Friday. And he was out there on Thursday putting work in.
Yep.
He ain't going to do both in the NFL.
Yeah, based off of everything that you've said, I think he has a better knack for defense. So run him on defense. And then have him be like a guy.
Primarily, he will be a corner. Primarily, and that's why I think it's going to be.
Primarily, that's how Deion played it. Deion played more corner than he did wide receiver, but he was always there on those special third downs where he'd be the slot receiver.
Deion he returned punts and kicks.
Baseball.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the thing that makes Deion special is the fact that he has so much patience with those kids.
Yep.
I think that's one thing.
Great coach.
Special.
Oh my God.
Great coach of young men.
And I hope he's true and never goes up to the pro level because college needs coaches like Prime.
Yeah.
So
why would you ever want to go pro? Why would you ever want to go to the pros?
Mark, what do you thought about the game?
So speaking of Colorado, real quick, looking at the beginning of the season, I would have judged them for like 4 or 5 losses. I would have pegged them for the loss of TCU before everything going down. The Nebraska game is a hit or miss. Colorado State is a win. I would give Oregon the win over them. USC, I'd give them the win. But looking at the way that they played TCU, I can only see, because the game against Oregon is in Oregon. The game that they play against USC is in Colorado. Besides that, they have Utah to end the season in Utah. Oregon, USC, and Utah, I think, are about the only 3 games I could see Colorado losing after the way that they.
I was going to see Ando. They're going to win 10 fucking games.
Yeah,
they're going to win 10 fucking games.
They'll win 10 games for sure.
That motion offense is really unconventional, though.
No, and it is. But the way Oregon played Portland State. USC has played 2 games already this year, and the way Utah kind of flattened out Florida. Those are the only 3 teams at this point that I would say probably gives Colorado a run for their money if they don't beat Colorado. Being a Washington State fan, I don't think Washington State will be able to keep up with that offense the way that they played against TCU, even with Washington State putting up 50 against Colorado.
Nebraska can't do it. They have the talent. They have the talent to do it, but they don't have the execution to make it happen.
They don't. The way Nebraska's offense was so anemic against Minnesota, I mean, you have to be able to put up points against that Colorado offense, and I don't think that's going to happen with Nebraska.
Ando, we got a guy running around. Nebraska has a guy running around in the backfield right now that's just running for his life. Yeah. I mean, that's what it looks like. It looks like he's running an quarterback options. They're running him 15 times a game, plus he runs a lot. Yeah. Like he's out of the pocket.
Real quick before I go to Mark, because I got to get Mark in here. Ando just updated us. Duke is beating Clemson 20.
Actually, that was like 15 minutes ago. I think as of last report, Duke was up 28-7.
Hello.
Yeah, minute 41 to go. Duke has the ball on Clemson's 40-yard line, but it's 28-7. Duke is beating number 9 Clemson.
Hello.
Duke guys are smart as fuck.
Yeah. All right, Mark, I want to get your thoughts on Colorado.
Well, honestly, I didn't actually watch that game. The 2 games I was keeping an eye on. Right. One game I was keeping an eye on. I'm from Illinois, so I'm an Illini fan. So I was watching Illinois till.
Come on, man.
So I was watching
basketball season's better for Mark.
It is. Though we had a good season last year. We actually had a good season.
They put together some squads. Hey, they play in the Big Ten, bro. The best conference in college football. All right, they play in that big motherfucking 10.
That's right.
So they're for real. This is gritty time football.
And that's only going to get better next year with Oregon and Washington coming in as well.
Yep.
Oh yeah. I mean,
I don't actually think that. I think the SEC is better.
I do think what Coach Bielema has been doing in Illinois, I think we're going to be one of those teams that, we're going to be in that mix. I don't know how we're going to do this year. We lost about 4 of our top players to the draft, Witherspoon, the Brown brothers. But
Mark,
I think we could legitimately be an 8-win team.
Mark, do you feel like Brett Bielema would sleep with your mother and you'd be okay with it? Because that's what I feel like for real. Dude, for real, dude. Seriously, dude is a fucking striking individual. You're what in the fuck is going on right now? He's hypnotizing me into this. And I'd be like, yeah, Brett, whatever the fuck you want. I don't care.
Sure.
Make yourself a sandwich afterwards too, you crazy fuck. Selling ketchup popsicles, dude. And my point behind that is he's fucking persuasive. He walks into those fucking kids' moms' houses. Let's be honest, a lot of them are raised by women. Because we kind of all were too. He's a striking individual, is all I'm saying.
Yeah. And that's one thing I like. It was so, when we got Lovie Smith, it was like, oh, we got Lovie Smith. That was cool. But Lovie didn't do anything with bringing in kids. He didn't do anything because
he didn't know how to.
Yeah.
I probably didn't know how to, Brett just walks in there and goes, hey, you want to come to Illinois? And they're like, yes, sir. I don't fucking know what's going on right now. My mom loves you. I have no.
Yeah. I mean, for the first time, we actually got a quarterback. But the other game I was watching was, ironically, Wyoming and Texas Tech.
That was a good game. Wyoming upset Texas Tech too.
Double overtime.
Mm-hmm.
That was a good game.
It was not a good. Yeah, it was not a good weekend for Texas. I mean, between Baylor and Texas Tech losing.
So, actually, I was about to go there, Ando, because I live about an hour from Texas State. My brother got his master's degree from Texas State, and I'm on that campus quite a bit. That team is terrible. Like, that is a team that if you've seen The Longest Yard and you need a tune-up game, that's your tune-up game.
Yep.
Texas State had a football program for like 20-something years, and it's never been good.
Yep.
Never been good.
Isn't this their first Power 5 win in history?
That was you stole it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Sorry. Spoiler alerts.
Ever for this team. Now, honorable mention goes to UTSA because they fought a tough game against U of H. That was a good game and could have went either way. And I'm a Roadrunners fan, so
even the guys from Texas don't want to go to Texas State. And then if they are good enough to go to Texas State, they just leave the state. So you're getting all of the
Oh, and it even gets a little worse, Dan, because in the last few years, UTSA picks up all the really good homegrown talent. Like that's why they have been so good in the last few years. Hell, just last year, the cornerback, I think he played for Seattle, was the first UTSA player to ever make a Pro Bowl.
Josie, all of your good homegrown talent in Texas goes to Alabama. Let's be honest.
No,
they go to Alabama and Miami.
I'm not talking about your 5-star recruit.
Nebraska.
I'm talking your
Florida,
your 4 stars. That's who UTSA is going after. The ones that aren't getting picked up by those schools.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like you're getting the leftovers.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm not saying they're definitely not getting the high ranking.
Well,
they're still UTSA. This is their first season in the Pac-12.
No, it would be. I think it's either Mountain West or it'd be.
It's not Mountain West.
You have to understand where I'm thrown off there.
They're out of those. They just moved into They took you.
We're talking about UTSA.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. Yeah, no, I know what we're talking about. I'm saying what threw me off is you said the good homegrown talent. Because
the good talent that doesn't get.
We're talking about the state of Texas, the fucking mecca of American football. That's that place. If there's a mecca in the United States of American football, it is fucking the state of Texas. They're in it. So you're not getting the good homegrown talent. Is what I'm saying. That was what threw me off.
No, they're getting the good homegrown talent because the great homegrown talent went to Alabama.
Is elsewhere.
And Miami.
That is exactly. But Ando, they just moved into the Atlantic.
Oh, the AAC.
The AAC.
The AAC.
Okay.
Or the ACC, whatever it is.
No, it's
always going to be Pangea.
Conference.
AAC.
Yeah.
Eventually, they're just going to have a conference called Pangea.
They took U of H's spot in the AFC as U of H is moving into the Big Ten. But still, but back to that other game. The fact that Texas State beat Baylor, and I realize Baylor hasn't been good in years, but still, they should not have lost that game. And not just lost that game, got straight outplayed.
Yeah.
I'm excited. UTSA plays Texas State this weekend. I think it's going to be a great game.
All right, I'm going to go next.
Battle of I-35, baby.
Man, I'm going to go next.
Real quick, guys, I got to bounce out of here because I got to be up early. Y'all have a good night.
All right. Night, Josie.
All right, man.
Yeah.
We're going to finish up, guys, real quick. First of all, my FSU, Florida State Seminoles get a big win beating LSU.
Jesus, they put a beat, especially that second half, man. Florida State
they look
so good, dude.
They look so good.
And the way Clemson, dude, I think Florida State is the team to beat in the ACC this year. The way that they play and the way Clemson look, at this point, it's Florida State's to lose. I think at this point, maybe North Carolina, depending on how May plays. But I think just the way that Florida State kind of rebounded and readjusted at the second half. I think it's Florida State's to lose, man.
I think it is. I really think it is. They played well.
Does that cat have a human name?
It's Mouse.
Oh, really? That's awesome.
I like it.
Okay, I'll show you her face. Hold on.
All right, you guys. I'm gonna go ahead and move on over to the NFL. We got a couple of Chiefs fans in the building. So we're gonna go with opening night.
That's where I'll be in 3 days.
We got the Chiefs.
Oh, you're going?
I am going.
Going.
Yeah, I leave Wednesday
Oh.
afternoon, traveling down I-29 from Iowa to Kansas
Lucky.
City, man.
I,
All right, let me go
I
around
used
the
to
room
live in
and get-
St. Joe. Dan lives up that way
Dude,
too. So.
St. Joe, I'm going to Waffle House Wednesday afternoon or Wednesday night. I'm so excited for
Go
that.
to the DNG. You'll get better food.
Okay, DNG,
All right,
got it.
all right, we got
DNG's
the,
awesome, dude. Yeah.
For opening night, we got the Chiefs versus the Lions. Opening night. Let me go around the room and get the thoughts on that game. Mark, you're our guest. What do you think about that game?
This is going to be. I mean, I think this could be this is going to be a great game. I mean, 2 years ago, if you were to tell me Lions Chiefs is going to be must see TV on opening night, I'd be like, Lions and Chiefs, what? But I mean, what the Lions have been able to do, I mean, they are the team to beat in the North right now, NFC North.
Absolutely.
And this coming from a Bears fan, I mean,
I'm gonna interrupt real quick and say Dan Campbell should have won Coach of the Year last year.
I agree.
Hands
I
down.
agree.
Hands down.
Yeah. So don't get me wrong. I think Dable did a great job with the Giants. But if you look at all of the star pieces that the Giants had versus what the Lions had, Lions I think had less to work with, and Dan Campbell got more out of them.
But to be fair, what star pieces? I mean, once you get past Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley,
look at what they have on the defensive side of the ball, because they have Dexter. I think Dexter Lawrence is their big defensive lineman that they had.
But if you go back and look at the Lions offense, they're just as potent. Who
are their star players? Who are their star players on offense?
You got Jared Goff at the helm?
Dude, people would take a coin flip on Jared Goff versus Daniel Jones.
I think so.
Going into last season, I would have taken Daniel Jones over Jared Goff.
But you still got St. Brown. You got St.
but
Brown there.
If Goff can't get him the football, that's the thing that I have about these receivers are really, really awesome. But if you don't have the quarterback to put the ball in their hands, look at what Patrick Mahomes had to work with last year. Everybody said MVS wasn't going to be good. Everybody said Juju Smith-Schuster wasn't going to be what he was in Pittsburgh. The quarterback makes the receivers better. And if you have a quarterback that can't put the ball in the receiver's hands, it doesn't matter if you have Jerry Rice playing with Blaine Gabbert. If Gabbert can't get Jerry Rice the ball, Jerry isn't going to be able to make your team that much better.
Here's the thing. Going into last season, I would not have taken Daniel Jones over Jared Goff because nobody could have predicted what Brian Dable was going to be able to do for Daniel Jones's career and turning him into White Michael Vick.
Okay.
Now, I would absolutely take Daniel Jones over Jared Goff. Absolutely.
You would take Daniel Jones over Jared Goff because I'd take Goff over Daniel Jones at this point.
I honestly,
Jones, yes.
Over Jones, yeah, I'd take Goff over Jones.
Yeah, me too. Honestly, because Jared Goff can make all the throws. Honestly,
yeah.
The thing about it though, other than maybe defensive line, I'm trying to figure out what makes the Giants and their situation that much better than the Lions situation.
Saquon Barkley for one.
Yeah, I think Barkley is better than any running back that the Lions have.
Okay, but go back and look at but overall, outside of him, and you just got Darren Waller this year. You didn't have Darren Waller last year, but you got him this year. Yep. But if you go back and look at what Detroit has, you got Montgomery, you got Gibbs there.
Yep.
Gibbs is an exciting rookie. You got St. Brown there.
You have Reynolds for Detroit.
Their defense is playing just as inspired as anyone's defense.
Yep.
Well, go ahead.
Well, what I was going to say was when you look at the weapons for the Lions, like you mentioned, David Montgomery, who's probably
better, by the way.
I'm still upset at the Bears for getting rid of him.
I'm upset too.
He's not a bad running back, but when you look at the wide receiver room, you've got Darius Fountain, you got Marvin Jones Jr.
Decent.
Amon-Ra St. Brown is in that receiving room. Jameson Williams is in that receiving room.
They're young. They're not really that good, honestly.
Right, and they're young, but
if you go back and look at the Giants guy, half the Giants receiving core can't stay healthy. You got Sterling Shepard always hurt. Darius Slayton is a shell of his former self. Willie Robinson, maybe, but I just don't see where that Giants team is so much better than Detroit's.
Roster-wise, I don't think that they are, Will.
I mean, roster-wise, they're probably pretty even.
We're really underestimating what Dan Campbell is doing because not only is he getting the best out of that team, because you're right, that roster's not that great. It's really, I mean, it's
but they're
not
playing
that great.
inspired under him.
Yeah.
Yes, he's inspiring his team. He's doing the right things, X's and O's wise, as an actual coach of that team. And here's the best part. He is staving off the fucking unmitigated shittiness of that front office. Yep. Yes, he literally is. The reason that they aren't still a shitty front office is because Dan Campbell went, fuck you, motherfucker. I'm trying to win around here. Get the fuck out of my face with that shit. We're not cutting people.
I'm going to bite your fucking kneecaps off.
Yes. Like, they're scared of him in a lot of different ways. Like, actually, physically. But
dude's pretty fucking menacing, man.
They're just because he refuses to go. Yeah, we're not going to do that stupid shit anymore. I'm trying to fucking win football games. You hired me to win football games. I'm trying to fucking win football games. Shut the fuck up. Sign the checks. Sign the checks and let me do my fucking job. And it's literally just imagine that guy with some balls walks in and says, "Hey, I'm going to fucking take over a little bit." And we got a whole different franchise up top. They're fucking squeaky clean.
And I think it shows you how important having a coach with the right mindset makes such a difference for a franchise. You can make the argument that the Chiefs were the same way 10 years ago with Todd Haley, with Romeo Crennel. They were not the same team as they were with Andy Reid. Andy Reid turned that franchise around, and now look, over the last 10 years, they're the model franchise that everybody's been chasing.
And also, situation for every player matters because, and this is in no disrespect to your Bears, Mark, because I have respect for the Bears organization. But if the Bears had drafted Patrick Mahomes would not be Patrick Mahomes.
No, I agree. And this is my thing because I have family members who
he'd be Aaron Rodgers.
And that would be his ceiling, which is not a bad ceiling, but that would be his ceiling.
You know, they talk about how bad Trubisky was as a quarterback, and I agree he didn't turn out. But I think that if he had not been under Nagy, you would see a completely different Mitch Trubisky than what you got at Chicago. I think Nagy ruined his because he wanted, and this is why I'm glad that they got rid of him whenever that we got Eberflus and we got rid of Nagy, because I think he would have done the same thing to Justin Fields. He would have had this mentality of, this is what I think a quarterback should be, and I'm going to force you to try to play like how I think a quarterback, instead of just being like, here's the ball, do what you do best.
Use his skills to his advantage. Yeah.
Matt Nagy is best when he has somebody like Andy Reid above him telling him what to do. Exactly. I mean this respectfully because Matt Nagy is our offensive coordinator, and I think that we're going to do very well with Matt Nagy this year as an offensive coordinator. Matt Nagy is the type of guy that is best as an OC, where he's got a very smart coach above him going
and a safety net
going, no, do this dumb shit. Versus
Josh McDaniels.
Josh McDaniels is a bad coach. Oh my God!
He's Josh McDaniels. He should be a coordinator.
OC. Josh McDaniels is a decent OC, but he's a
Josh McDaniels is a great OC.
Horrible.
Josh McDaniels is a great OC.
Yeah, but he is not a good coach.
Name one quarterback. Well, no, okay, I guess that's not fair because when he was in Denver, he didn't have a quarterback. I was going to say, what's the argument that you can use besides Brady? Name another good quarterback he's had. But as an offensive coordinator, that's your only quarterback he's had.
The 2007 Patriots offense.
Well, but he also wasn't he the OC the first year that Patrick came in?
We're talking about Josh McDaniels.
Because Matt Nagy left Kansas City and came back.
Yeah. No, because
we're talking about Josh McDaniels.
Yeah, we're talking about McDaniels. I think Nagy actually left to go to Chicago the year that Patrick was drafted. And you got to remember, the first year that Patrick was drafted, he was still behind Alex Smith.
And to be fair.
Yes, the Letterkenny fan. Fuck, you're my new favorite person.
We didn't really know that Patrick, when that draft happened, we didn't know that Patrick Mahomes was going to be Patrick Mahomes.
No.
A lot of people were down on him in the draft.
Gruden said it in his quarterback camp.
Look at just the paper.
Yeah.
I mean, Trubisky was the better pick.
Yeah. Dude, I will argue. Because I argue with my sister to this day. My sister was high on Patrick Mahomes starting when we traded Alex Smith to Washington and started Patrick Mahomes. It was like, it's too soon for Patrick Mahomes. We should keep Alex Smith another year, let Patrick learn under him, and then the year after that, you let him take over. Patrick proved me wrong. As a Chiefs fan, he proved me wrong because I thought Smith was the better choice. Smith had more of the knowledge. Could Smith make the throws that Patrick made? Absolutely not. But the knowledge that Patrick got from Alex, even in the 17 games in the
Invaluable.
playoffs. Yeah, it's just man.
I agree. All right, so everybody here is going with the Chiefs. Anybody picking the Lions?
Here's my caveat to that, right? I
It's
think
in
it's going
Detroit,
to be
right?
No, it's in Kansas City.
No, it's in
yeah,
Kansas City.
yeah,
it's
yeah,
okay.
Chiefs.
So I'm going with Kansas City. My gut feeling goes with Kansas City. However, if Kansas City cannot get the pass rush that is needed to get to Goff and make him uncomfortable, I think the game is going to be closer than a lot of people expect it to be.
Mhm.
I'm going to say 31-28, 35-31, something like that. It'll be close.
It's gonna be
And
a
if
good
you
game.
don't think that Dan Campbell isn't going to have those fucking guys
Oh, dude, it's
playing
gonna be
at 118% of what they are fucking going to
Yep.
in Arrowhead, he's going to
Oh.
tell them they fucking suck. He's going to be like,
Yep.
you guys
It's
can't
Super
fucking win this
Bowl.
shit.
That's
Yes,
the
yes,
two-
Super Bowl.
that's the two things that I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to that fucking banner dropping because that's the whole reason we're going to this game is to watch the banner drop. And then number two, I'm oh my god, I'm amped for that noise, man. I want to hear the 142
Yeah.
decibels go off.
Oh,
man.
they're going to be
It's gonna
yeah,
be
they're going
loud
to be
as hell.
bro, I saw you
Arrowhead
know
is
the
a
last
fucking experience.
and
All
it's
right.
not going to make you
Used to
happy.
be.
Not going
All
to
right,
make you
well-
happy. Last fucking Chiefs game, real quick, Will. Last Chiefs game I saw, I went and saw fucking them play the San Diego Chargers,
Yep.
and Justin Herbert fucking shredded
Yep.
the Kansas City Chiefs the entire game, and it was weird, dude. I'm
Yeah.
used to that place just
That
being
was-
fucking like,
Because that was the game where
Raging.
Patrick threw like 3 straight interceptions on back-to-back
Yeah.
drives.
Yep.
So
because he was playing from behind because Justin Herbert did not throw a bad ball that entire game, just 5-step drop and on a fucking dime. I'm not joking you. Every single fucking throw was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen, dude. Like it made me a Justin Herbert fan. Like I was like, this dude's just in here in Arrowhead, shutting down all this noise. And I was like, this is fucking crazy. It was the weirdest feeling ever though, because I'm used to being in there, when it's
So,
shaky. Like that fucking place shakes.
Fun fact about Arrowhead and my family. So my mom and my dad went to Arrowhead 3 years ago when we won Super Bowl 49. They went to the Colts game at home on Sunday night where they lost. We ended up winning the Super Bowl that year. My mom got my brother and my sister tickets to go to the Jaguars Chiefs game on a whim, like 48 hours ahead
lost.
of time. No, the Chiefs beat the Jaguars.
Oh,
that
they
year
won, yeah.
because
in
it
the
was
playoffs.
last year. And then the Chiefs
Yeah.
won the Super Bowl. So we're hoping that by me and my sister going this year will set the mojo that, hey, the Chiefs are going to be on the road to win another Super
I'm
Bowl.
gonna be honest with you, Ando. It's not gonna make a
I like
shitty
that.
difference.
I hope.
Not gonna make a shit fucking difference.
Fingers crossed. They need the good mojo.
All right.
Let's
I
go
know
Chiefs.
that it makes you feel better, and I like it.
Yeah.
All right, guys, real quick, I want to go over 2 more games, and we're going to get out of here for the night. Sunday Night Football, we got Cowboys versus Giants. Mark, what do you think about that game?
Man,
Yeah.
I don't really care about either team, honestly.
Dude,
Yeah.
the Cowboys are fucking boring to watch too.
Yeah,
I don't.
they
If they were like America's team, and like I was like, you know what, I kind of like watching the Cowboys games. Like I like watching it for the. Like I don't even like watching their games. I'm like this.
No.
Yeah.
Like Dak Prescott is boring as fuck to me. I think that's his biggest downfall.
And do they?
He's kind of
and
boring.
apologies if there are any Cowboy fans here, but
Nope.
do they not?
We don't
have the
fucking
most
allow that shit around here,
annoying
Mark.
fan base
Oh my god.
in the world. Like,
And the
it's-
way Jerry Jones' eyes goes like this in the middle of the game, it's like, hey, we're gonna go shoot at Jerry for the 55th fucking time in the game. How many times do you see Mr. Hunt from the Chiefs on TV? Not never.
or
But
Cowboys-
it's Jerry Jones' team. Personally speaking, I'm probably gonna go Cowboys to win, but if the Giants upset, I don't care.
yeah,
All right.
I have the Giants by 3 on that one.
I agree with you,
Yeah.
Seven.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Giants too. I think that's a lot of Saquon. They're gonna give it. They're gonna begin Saquon. They're gonna get every ounce of that fucking contract.
Yep.
They're gonna get every ounce of that contract. He's gonna touch the ball 300 times. I hope you drafted him in fantasy. He's gonna touch the ball 300 times.
It's going to be.
They're
I
gonna-
think it's going to be a closer game than what people think. All right, moving on to our first Monday night game of the year. We got the Buffalo Bills versus Aaron Rodgers' New York Jets. What are you guys thinking? Let me
Sorry.
start with again, Mark.
Sorry, I just heard Aaron Rodgers. It makes me want to throw up in my mouth.
Yes, Jets, Jets. Dude, I'm a huge Aaron Rodgers fan. I love Aaron
I
Rodgers.
don't like Aaron Rodgers in fantasy.
I like how you guys don't like him. You guys get that, right? I like how you don't like him.
that Bills defense is going to come.
It makes me like
with
him
a
more.
point to prove. I think that Bills
Does
defense.
it give you a hard on for Rodgers there, Dick?
Dude, you know what? If there's only a couple of straight guys that I'd fuck, I'll tell you what. And one of them is yes, one of them is definitely Aaron Rodgers. Yeah.
You just want him to take you to South America to do ayahuasca. It's just about the drugs for you, Dan.
And obviously the other one is LeBron James, obviously. But duh, guys. Jeez. Like, no, but like, fucking dude, I love Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers, the only proponent of psychedelics in the NFL, by the way, also, and the only openly atheist player in the NFL. There's a couple of fun facts for you.
Cool.
That I'm sure makes you guys love him so much more.
Yep. Still going with the Bills over the Jets.
Still going with the Bills.
Yep.
I
think the Bills have so much to prove after letting themselves down in that game against Buffalo last year. I think with DeMar coming back, I think they're going to get that rejuvenated defense. I think it's Buffalo's going to take the East, and I think they're going to be a tough team. They're going to be a tough team out this year.
Here, my issue with Buffalo. They
need to get Von Miller back.
Yep.
My issue with they do. My issue with Buffalo comes down to Josh Allen.
Yep.
Because and last year when Kansas City played Buffalo, Buffalo won that game because of an uncharacteristic red zone interception by Patrick Mahomes.
Was it red zone? Because the only interception
it was a
that
red
I
zone
remember
pick at the end of the game. They called it.
No, it was so it wasn't the red zone because the Chiefs were in their own. The Chiefs were in their own territory because it was like 2nd and 8 when Mahomes made that pick, but it was on Kansas City's side of the field. It wasn't on Buffalo's.
But you then look at Josh Allen from that point through the end of the season. Josh Allen led the league in red zone turnovers.
Mm-hmm.
That is despite the fact that Derek Carr and Dak Prescott still played professional football.
Yeah.
Josh Allen managed to lead the league in red zone turnovers.
It's not because he's a bad quarterback, though.
No,
it's because he can do too much. He can do so much. He tries to do so much because he can do so much.
Yeah,
like that's.
I think if Buffalo can limit how much Josh has to do, take some of that pressure off of Josh. Like Josh likes to run. Get the running backs the ability to run.
Without Josh Allen.
Exactly. So if you can get a running game and take some of that pressure off of Josh, this is a different Buffalo Bills team that we're talking about.
They need to go out, and I've said this twice now. They need to go get Jonathan Taylor. Make it happen.
Yes.
Give him whoever.
I'm in agreement. I said
you can have James Cook. You can have Latavius Murray. You can have all this trash we got. Give us Jonathan Taylor.
I said it 2 weeks ago, Will. I think Taylor will either be a Bill or I think, and this is kind of the long shot, I think he could be a Jaguar too. One of those two teams will take Taylor.
I don't think Jacksonville will do.
You don't think so?
I don't think because I think Travis Etienne is just playing too well right now.
Yeah, Travis Etienne's the guy down there.
Yeah, Travis Etienne is made of porcelain, though. Travis Etienne is made of porcelain. Like that dude is a third down back.
If you're the Colts,
in the NFL.
If you're the Colts, would you take Travis Etienne and 2 seconds or a first and a third for Jonathan Taylor?
It depends on how much cocaine they throw in for Jim Irsay in that deal.
That's true. That's true. But
they're not gonna. It's gonna be in cash. Is what it's gonna be in cash. That's what it means. Cash.
Give me the strippers down in Jacksonville too. Sean has a couple of those on.
That's cash in Florida, baby. That's cash in Florida, baby.
But I think. But I don't know. Maybe they do, because the only really good free agent out there to me at the running back position is Kareem Hunt, and people are saying he's lost a step. So I don't know.
Yes,
it's just because of time and everything that he went through in his career.
He also played on Cleveland, so
yeah.
With no fucking line or quarterback until Deshaun Watson got there,
and even Deshaun Watson. I mean, Deshaun was a shell of himself.
I could see. With Kareem Hunt, and I'm going to make a crazy prediction here, and it's just because of the fact that this kind of just popped into my head. So right now at quarterback, it looks like you're going to have Josh Dobbs for most of the season down in Arizona, right? Mm-hmm. Who sat next to Kareem Hunt last year for a while?
Ooh.
But Josh Dobbs.
Intriguing.
So when you look at the running back room in Arizona, you have got
James Conner.
James Conner.
And that's it.
And
a bunch of bums.
Marlon Mack, really? James Conner, Marlon Mack, that's it. That's really it as far as anybody notable. I think you might see Arizona sniff down that one. And I would not be surprised if they pulled the trigger on it because it would be usable, especially if they're tanking for draft picks this year. You can still make some entertaining football out of Kareem Hunt, and still be trying to get Caleb Williams, which I don't think that's what they're doing. But if they were going to be doing it, you could still do that with getting Kareem Hunt.
Seven, let me ask this, right? Because I asked Will this a couple weeks ago, and I asked Dan a couple weeks ago. If you're Arizona, because you have so much money tied up into Kyler Murray, if you tank for Caleb, do you trade Kyler or do you trade?
Who's going to take him with that contract?
Exactly.
That's the number one question. You can't, and that's why they're not going to go. That's why they're not going to tank for Caleb Williams. That's a $260 million deal. Nobody is going to take
from Arizona's point of view. Is Caleb Williams better or is Kyler Murray better? I would take Caleb at this point over
Caleb Williams is clearly better. I'm not going to deny the talent of that kid out of USC. Lincoln Riley Lincoln Riley, USC, right? Okay. Yeah. Lincoln Riley is insanely lucky that he left Oklahoma to go to that.
Yep, and then Caleb followed him to USC.
But
my point is, if you're Arizona, if you can find somebody to take the contract of Kyler Murray, you trade him.
And you're going to have to eat it. You just eat a big chunk of it. Just eat a big chunk of it.
Do what Green Bay wasn't willing to do with Aaron Rodgers. Aaron wanted to be traded to New York, and they didn't.
Eat 100 mil.
Yeah. At this point right now, I would take Caleb over Kyler. Kyler has the ACL tear, so he's not going to move as fast as he once did. Kyler's also one of the smaller quarterbacks in the league. If I have an option,
he's the smallest quarterback. He's 5'9".
Yeah,
they can say things all they want. He's 5'9". He's just.
And I'm sorry, I don't want the cheerleader from the longest yard leading my team. I mean, come on, put on a shirt, put on a real shirt, dude.
Damn. If Kyler Murray is 6'1", he is a much better quarterback. I'm sorry, he's top 15 in the NFL.
If he was even Drew Brees' size, I would say that he's a better quarterback.
He's tiny.
Exactly. Yeah, he's very, very tiny.
Says a lot about his talent that he's able to find lanes like that at 5'8".
My wife tells me all the time that size doesn't matter, but in truth, we know with quarterbacks it does.
Yep.
Yes, all right, you guys. Let's go ahead
and finish.
Let's go ahead and
finish. We need to talk. I want to talk about the Chicago Green Bay game.
Yeah.
I want to get Mark's opinion on this.
Yeah.
You've got Jordan Love versus Justin Fields. Justin Fields needs to prove that he can actually get something
I agree.
done.
I agree.
This is in Green Bay or Chicago?
What's that?
Is the game in Green Bay or Chicago?
Chicago.
It's in Chicago.
It's at Soldier. Yeah, this is definitely I wouldn't say this is a make or break for Justin, but this is a very important season and as a Bears fan, my realistic expectations, what I'm looking for are us to win the games that we should win. You know, looking at the schedule, looking at like what are the games that we should win, and just to see improvement and to show that Justin, you know, that he's not just a
show some promise.
Show some promise and show that he's not just, you know, he's not just a running back.
Show some improvement.
Yeah. Show some improvement. And I think he can. I think, you know, last year he was one of the most exciting players to watch. I mean, you see some of those plays where he just breaks out and you're just, I mean, as a fan, I'm just like, holy crap, what is going on?
He's a freak. He's a freak.
And for Green Bay, you know, obviously as a Bears fan, I hate Green Bay. But Green Bay's in a situation they haven't been in for years, where you have a quarterback that you don't know what you're getting. Like they've never had that before.
Yes, they know what they're getting out of Jordan Love.
Yeah,
he's been sitting back there for 3 years. They know what they're getting out of Jordan Love.
They better hope they do.
Yeah.
So
they better hope they do.
They know what they're getting out of Jordan Love.
I think the North could be really interesting because, I mean, you could theoretically have 3 teams that could make the playoffs. I think if everything goes perfectly, you could have Detroit, the Bears, and the Vikings maybe in the playoffs. I think, or at least 2 of those teams.
For sure.
I think right now the way it looks, I see, you know, I see Green Bay in the basement. I see, like I said before, this is Detroit's.
Yeah, it's Detroit's Detroit's north is to lose.
Detroit's north to lose,
yeah.
and so it's just a fight for this. It's just a fight for that second place between the Bears and the Vikings. And
I don't think Minnesota did enough though to keep the division intact. A lot of those games that they won last year, which were 11-0 in those 3-point games.
Yeah.
They're not going to win all of those this year.
How many games are in prime time? Because we know how what's his name does, and
don't you talk about first cousins like that.
Prime time, Kirk Cousins.
Talk about first cousins like that.
Hold on. To be fair, Kirk Cousins did play in prime time when they beat the Colts 39-36.
Yeah.
That technically was considered a primetime game because that was the only game that was on TV when it happened. So I was looking at Justin Fields' stats from last year to this year. Justin Fields completed 60% of his passes, had 17 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, and was sacked 55 times. And then on top of that, obviously, he had 8 rushing touchdowns, did have 9 fumbles, but he didn't lose any of them. So as a quarterback fan, if I can see him bring his completion percentage above 60. No, so he's at 60 now. So if I can see him jump up to 65% and get at least 3,500 yards out of him through the air and get 25 touchdowns, and hopefully have him play 18 games, I don't think that's unreasonable.
Yeah, I mean,
especially with him having 7 wins.
And hopefully we have an O-line that can actually protect him.
Exactly. Don't take away his ability to run because that's what makes him unique. But he needs to develop that. I need to stay in the pocket the extra 2 seconds to find the open receiver and then take off if I need to. That whole thing of him take the ball, my first read's not there, I'm going to run. He's got to eliminate that from his repertoire.
How about 7 wins, Ando? How about that statistically? Like, just what if you get 7 wins out of him? No matter what his numbers are. If they go close to 500, I feel like Mark would feel good about that.
Okay, right. So
I don't, because he's not really like a stat type guy. Does that make sense? He runs a lot like he runs a lot like Dak throws the ball a lot. So that's not really comparison wise, player wise, it's kind of the same. But like, you know what I'm saying? Like numbers wise, I don't know if it matters.
Not everybody's based off of their numbers because Tom Brady didn't produce numbers and he still got wins. Okay.
Well, Brady threw 50 touchdowns.
Yeah, but that was an off season. That was an off season. And look at who he had to throw.
But to me, Chicago's biggest issue to me is at the running back position. I don't know if you can trust Khalil Herbert to take all those carries. That's why you got Dr. Foreman, and I forgot that rookie's name that they have at third string right now. But that's between the defense and the running game. I don't know. But I love seeing DJ Moore there. I love seeing DJ Moore there.
That running back you were talking about that they picked up in the 4th round was Rashawn Johnson out of Texas.
Yes. You might see him get some meaningful touches down there. Because like I said, I don't know if I trust Herbert, and I don't know if I trust Dante Foreman to really carry the load down there for him. And again,
the fact that they got DJ Moore to help out too will help take pressure off.
Good.
That was good. Actually, get us the actual.
Now Claiborne needs to step it up. Claiborne needs to step it up a little bit more as that second receiver. But
you mean Claypool?
Yeah, Claypool. But still, I just think that right now, between that running game being questionable and that defense, I don't know.
Their offensive line needs to produce this year in a much better rate than what they did last year. Because when you look at and it's because Justin Fields is great. His mobility is one of the things that makes him unique. And I think Mark's right on the nose for that. But you also have to look at the fact that he shouldn't be running unless he wants to.
Exactly.
And unfortunately for Chicago, a lot last year, that just wasn't the case. He was running. Yeah, he was running for his life.
Yeah.
And we saw in the Super Bowl 2 years ago when Kansas City got their asses kicked by Tampa Bay, your offensive line is so goddamn important.
Yep.
And if you can't get a quality offensive line to protect your quarterback, any good defense is going to pick your shit apart, and that your quarterback is going to be running for their life.
Yeah, because if your quarterback runs to the right or the left, it eliminates 50 to 75% of the field. So that's that much less defense you have to worry about.
And so if you can get Justin Fields, if you can get him this year an extra 1.5 seconds in the pocket, I think we see all of those numbers get better.
They have weapons. He just needs to get the ball to him. Cole Kmet,
he needs to have time to get it to him and make those decisions because he's not like Patrick or Tom or some of these other quarterbacks that can make the decision in a second.
But are we going to see that being different now because he's running on the same offensive coordinator and the same head coach? Having that stability may make a difference for them this year.
And just what I've heard
Yeah.
of his like mentality and you know when during practice and on the field of wanting to get better, of wanting to know what mistakes he has and being there like day in and day out. That's one thing I do like about Justin is
he's got a great mentality.
Oh yeah. I mean, and we've had quarterbacks like I'm sorry, like
Jay Cutler.
Oh, I was tired of this the whole time.
Yeah, why you said that name?
I know.
Jay Cutler had all the arm talent in the fucking world.
He was
he
one
had
of those
all
guys
the confidence in the world.
He had so much potential.
Right.
Oh yeah,
right.
absolutely.
And when's the potential get fulfilled?
Jay Cutler gets more respect for how he treated his ex-wife than he ever did playing.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Kristen Cavallari. Hey, before we go, I need to know, and these are one-word answers, and it's going to be tough. Mark and Ando. I already know the other two's opinion. Number one, who's the greatest wide receiver in NFL history? You only have two choices: Randy Moss or Jerry Rice.
Rice.
One-word answers. You both said Rice?
Rice.
Wow. We're going to have to talk about that later. And then we're going to have a big talk about that later. Randy Moss is the GOAT of NFL wide receivers.
How you going to put down a legend?
Jordan or LeBron?
You already know my answer. 23, baby. Mike.
Jordan.
From Chicago.
How you gonna put down a legend in Randy? How you gonna put down a legend in Jerry Rice?
Okay, so the only argument that I will make for Randy being a better receiver than Jerry is Jerry had two Hall of Famers throwing footballs to him between Steve Young and Joe Montana. Again, and like I said earlier, quarterbacks make a big development in a receiver. Granted, you had Dante Culpepper; he had a hell of an arm, but I think
Tom Brady.
Yeah.
For 1 year. Yeah. Essentially.
Yeah, but I mean, I look at when I look at the receiver player between Rice and Moss. What's that?
One-word answers.
Attitude.
If we get into this, we're going to be here until fucking 4 a.m.
I'm going to pick Rice over Moss because of attitude.
Okay.
I got to go. But
that's fine. You guys know my answers. James and Moss.
But that's only because you want to sleep with LeBron James. I can't hold that against
you. They go hand in hand, really. They go hand in hand.
God.
The opinion goes with the attraction. Is really what it is, or maybe vice versa. Who knows? He's a great looking man. Will, what can I say?
And on that note,
we out.
Sick freak. And on that note,
he's a sick freak, not me.
Is no one that no one say thank
you? Like anybody who's listening doesn't know.
Exactly.
I mean, look at that. He's got double D's and a dick.
It's the thing, bro.
Real quick, Mark, let people know where they can find you, my friend.
Well, I host a couple podcasts on Geek News Network. I host one called Where the Stars, a Star Wars podcast. And also Star Wars Through the Eyes of a Child on YouTube. You can check both of those out on GNN every week. And that's pretty much it.
Thank you for joining us, my friend. I do appreciate it. Anybody got anything else they want to air out before we go?
Nope. I'm on twitch.tv/Ando3818, but I probably won't be streaming anything this week, obviously, because I'll be down in Kansas City. But hopefully next week I'll be back on schedule.
This show got so much better when Josie left.
I just want to let you know that he hates you.
This he hates you, show got so much better. Who hates me?
Seven hates you because you're going to the game.
Yeah, he does.
I mean, I'm going to think about you while I'm punching some drywall and drinking Monster later.
You know what? Hey, punch the TV. If you see my face, I'll be sitting behind the Chiefs end zone. I think it's behind the Arrowhead big board that I'm at.
Okay.
But yeah, I will send Will a picture. Will send you that picture as soon as I'm there. I'll show you where I'm sitting.
See it, yeah.
Yeah.
Don't trip going down those stairs, man.
Oh, dude, no, man. I wouldn't.
Oh my God.
Those things are fucking steep.
And if it's nothing else, I want to say thank you for everybody joining us here on the Sports Report podcast. We'll see you again next week.
This show got so much better when Josie left.
And when I arrived.
To disrespect.
And when Mark arrived. And Ando.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah. Mark made things
better. See how much more fluid it was and everything's just better.
And Mark, you are more than welcome to come back on.
Well, thank you.
Anytime you want to come back on, just let me know.
Hey, next week we'll officially have a full slate of NFL to talk about because we'll have games officially played.
Awesome.
And you guys are trying to figure out wrestling names, so maybe be thinking of that when you're,
I don't know. Double
time.
D takes me under. I think something with double D's. I got to figure out something with the double D's.
I already got a wrestling name.
What's that?
I already got one, so I ain't worried about that.
I'm thinking maybe like the attacking Nebraskan.
The Maskin Nebraskan.
The attacking.
You got to wear a mask. You got the attacking
Nebraskan thing.
Yeah,
Damn,
we'll figure something out for you, man.
Running backwards through a cornfield.
Yep. Making his way to the ring from the cornfields of Nebraska.
Cornfields.
Yes, exactly. And like you can work in like maybe like a redneck thing because we're gonna have to go with that.
Hey,
Nebraska.
I actually have my own. If I was to, I don't have a wrestling name, but I have my own wrestling finishing name since I'm from a half hour from Champaign, Illinois, the Champagne Dream.
There you go.
Yes.
There you go.
There you
It's
go.
got to be something like finesse too. Like it's beautiful when it's happening, and then you just fucking knock the guy out.
So yeah, I've always wanted to change my name because I'm BCA as my initials, but I always wanted to be called Anderson or Aaron Christopher. So every time I do a wrestling game, it's AC Ando because I'm cooler than the other side of the pillow.
There you go.
Oh,
There you go.
Dumb, I know, but whatever, man.
Shout out to Stuart Scott real quick. Shout out.
Yeah.
All right. If there's nothing further, I want to say thank you for everybody being out there for this 2-hour episode of the Sports Report podcast. We'll see you guys again next week. Everyone have a good week. Have a safe week. Peace out.
Peace out.
Talk about that power structure bullshit.
Yep. Go Chiefs.
I saw what happened.
Bear down.
If it's
Bear
you, baby,
down.
let's go. What chant?
Bear down.
What chant, baby?